Hey children, greetings for the day, wishing you all a great day ahead. After doing poem number 1, The Road Not Taken, now it's time for lesson 1 of prose section, The Fun They Had. Before starting with the chapter, I'll give you an introduction. This is a very light story. It is fun, it is set in the future, and it will make all of you love school, which you already do. This story is regarding school life and how the children who do not go to school miss school. The setting of this story is in future and says that in future there will be no school building, no books. Then how those children will study? These children in future felt that their ancestors, that is you all, the present generation, had fun going to school, meeting and helping each other, making friends. So when we will read the story, we will know that school life is so good. And we are fortunate enough to have real schools where we go and study together with our friends. In the end, we also come to know that this is an imagination by a girl called Margie, who is the main character of the story, who comes to know that in the past her ancestors went to school and perhaps had a lot of fun. What will be the school in future be like? There will be learning through computers. The children will have virtual classroom. That means each child will have a personal classroom at their home. There could be robotic teachers. That means there could be robots who have been pre-programmed to teach the students. Or there could be e-textbooks. That is all textbooks on computer. The story says that in future there will be no school. So basically, this story conveys the feelings of those children who study through e-books and computers, that children in past studied in school. So let us begin the story. We are going to learn the story point-wise. In the first paragraph, Margie, a little girl in the story, the main character, 11 years of age, makes a diary entry. Tommy found a real book. The entry reveals the date 21st May 2157, showing that the story is set much into the future. The book was a very old one, just like the one that her grandfather had in his time as a student. So this book is sort of history for them, something which they couldn't believe. Its pages were yellow and she found it funny to read the words that were not moving like that on her computer screen. Here she says that the book was crinkly and had yellow pages. Crinkly means something crushed or something with many folds or lines. She found it funny that words stood still, means printed on the pages, unlike their e-book which kept on moving as they were on computer. They found it strange to see such a book. Today you have both kinds of books, e-books and real books. So you yourself can understand the real difference. Now we talk about point 2 and 3 on page 6. When Tommy had the book in his hand, he called it a waste because after one time reading, it could be thrown away. He compared the two books. He said with pride that a single screen can show them so many stories and that there is no need to throw it away. Note that their ages are mentioned here. Tommy was 13 and Margie was 11. Since Margie was younger by 2 years, she naturally had read lesser books. The same feeling was with Margie too. Tommy found that book in the attic of his house, and that book was about a school. What is an attic? An attic is a space just below the roof, used as a store place. Margie hated her school and her mechanical teacher a lot. She felt scornful. What is scornful? Showing her dislike for something. Because she hated her school, she felt shocked and asked, "What's there to write about a school?" She hated her school and her mechanical teacher a lot. Her teacher was not living being. She was an image that flashes on her screen in her study room. She gave her test after test in geography and she was not doing well. Her failure in geography had invited an inspector who tried to trace out the problem. Her consistent failure made her mother doubtful that there was something wrong. So her mother had asked the county inspector to come and find what was wrong. A county inspector here can be considered as a person to repair or to manage the mechanical teacher. Let's move on to point 4. The inspector was a round little man with a red face, and he came with a big box of tools and wires to check the mechanical teacher. He took the teacher apart, or he opened it, and Margie sat there and hoped that he couldn't do it back again because she did not want to study and she did not like the teacher. But the man was an expert and within an hour he set it right. Here she defines the screen as big, large, black and ugly. Margie thought that the mechanical teacher will be taken away by the county inspector. But it was not so. But why she hated the school so much? Why she hated her teacher? Because the teacher took a lot of tests and she hated it most because of the slot where she had to submit the test papers and her homework. What is slot? It is a given space, time or position. And here slot refers to a particular area in the computer. She had to write her work in a punch code. A punch code is a computing language. And she learnt that during her starting school years at a young age of 6. She felt irritated because she took time in doing her work and mechanical teacher calculated her work in no time. Now let us discuss point 5 on page number 7. The inspector set the teacher right within an hour or so. He informs her mother that nothing was wrong with the girl. Rather, the screen was too fast for the girl and therefore Margie was having troubles. He smiled and gave Margie a pat. A pat is a little touch on the shoulder. He says that the overall performance of Margie was quite satisfactory. And that's why he patted her head again. Margie was little disappointed. She had been hoping that they would take the teacher away, just like the Tommy's teacher. The history teacher of Tommy had blanked out completely a month ago and was taken away for repairing. After the county inspector left, Tommy and Margie continued their conversation. Margie asked, "Why would anyone write about school?" Tommy also thought it was stupid enough. He said, because it's not our kind of school. It is an old kind of school they had hundreds and hundred years ago. On reading that book, Tommy and Margie had a discussion. The old kind of schools were a building common to all and with human teachers who could teach all the boys and girls the same thing if they were of the same age. They felt it a little stupid but continued reading it. Here, Margie felt a little sad because when she read and came to know that even they had a teacher, she lost all her interest because she did not like her teacher.